you click on Print Document. Okay, then you get this fenster. Let's start with 4 pages. Facing pages checked. A4 size, portrait. The margin, I'm going to make the margin a bit larger. And the bleed is set to 5 millimeters. If your InDesign thinks in points, it might say something like 0p, I don't know what. You can overrule that by typing 5 mm and then press tab, and it will calculate it for you. Let's say OK. Imagine that you are too late with the bleed or you forgot to set up your bleed. Then you can go to File, Document Setup, and maybe this will look like this. So you can click on this little arrow and then the bleed will appear, and then you can still add a bleed. Okay. If you want to change the margin, you can go to Layout, Margins and Columns. And here you can make the margin smaller or larger. And if you have the preview checked, then you can actually see what's happening on the spot. You can add columns, 2 or 3 or whatever. There's also another way to add columns, and that's by going to Layout and create guides. Here you can add columns or rows. So let's say that I want to add 3 columns. Right now, this is actually the default setting. We have 3 columns of the same width measured from the outside of my page. But I don't want to use the outside of my page, I want to use the inside of the margin because I'm not going to put any text outside my margin. So what I do is I click on Fit Guides to Margin, and now the size of these different columns are the same within my margin. I also want a few rows, let's say 4, with no gutter. That means just straight lines like this. Okay. Now I've created a grid that can help me set up a layout for my design. If I want to get rid of the guides, I can also click on Create Guides and say Remove Existing Ruler Guides, for example, but I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, this is how you set up a document.